Saturday launched a rocket carrying 3 astronauts to the core module of its future space station. The Shenzhou 13 spacecraft blasted off from the northwestern province of Gansu just after midnight local time. Around 6 hours later, the vessel successfully docked to the port of the space station. China hopes to complete construction of its own space station to rival that of the International Space Station by the end of next year. Shenzhou 13, which means divine vessel in Chinese, is the country's second of 4 crewed missions needed for the project. Ahead of the launch, the 3 astronauts, 2 men and 1 woman, attended a sending-off ceremony. Wang Yaping is the first female astronaut to visit the Chinese station after becoming China's second woman in space in 2013. The crew will now spend the next 6 months living and working on the station's largest module. It will be the longest duration in orbit for Chinese astronauts, and during that time they will conduct tests of key technologies and robotics needed to assemble the space station. They will also verify onboard life support systems and conduct a host of scientific experiments. China has spent the last decade developing its own space technologies, as it is barred by US law from working with NASA. With the International Space Station retiring in a few years, China's space station is expected to become the only one in Earth's orbit.
Liftoff.
This Atlas V rocket has sent a NASA probe called Lucy on an orbital journey to start a 12-year mission to explore 8 asteroids. The 2 different unexplored clusters of asteroids are around Jupiter and known as Trojans.
We think that the understanding of threats of the Earth are a really critical part of analyzing asteroids and especially near-Earth objects. This particular one is no threat to Earth. It's out there, and we can go visit it and kind of learn how to impart momentum.
Over the next 6 years, Lucy will need to build up enough momentum to reach Jupiter.
The most exciting part is really to visit these objects for the first time and to learn. Of course, that's enabled, and I need to tell you, technically, it's enabled by one of the most crazy orbits I've ever seen in any mission design. 12 years, flying by the Earth 3 times, and that orbit is just absolutely incredible.
These particular asteroids were first discovered more than a century ago. They're each different in size and are locked in stable orbits, and believed to be fragments of the early solar system. Scientists hope to find out more about how the solar system evolved.
The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for Friday's suicide bombing on a Shiite mosque in Afghanistan's Kandahar province, which killed 47 people. The statement, which named the attackers, was posted on social media. A prominent Shiite imam has called for more protection for mosques. "We're concerned about this situation," said Mohammad Reza Muzaffar, based in Kabul. "Certainly the killing of innocent people while worshipping is not justifiable in any religion." The deadliest strike since the Taliban took over in Afghanistan has left many questioning their ability to maintain security. "We urgently ask the Islamic Emirate to safeguard our people's lives," said this victim's relative. "This incident did not happen in a market. They were targeted while they were praying. If this attack is an indication that there should not be any more mass prayers, then what kind of Islam is it?" The attack follows the killing of 46 people at a Shiite mosque in northern Afghanistan last week, for which the Islamic State group also claimed responsibility.
Robert Durst, the real estate heir who was sentenced this week to life in prison for murdering a friend in 2000, has COVID and is on a ventilator, his lawyer told the Los Angeles Times. Durst, who appeared sickly during his sentencing on Thursday, quote, "looked worse than I've ever seen him," Dick DeGuerin told the Times. It was not clear where 78-year-old Durst is being treated. Durst's sentencing for the 2000 murder of Susan Berman was long-delayed punishment for a man who mostly evaded the law for close to 4 decades. Last month, a jury found Durst guilty of shooting Berman in the back of the head at her Beverly Hills home. The jury also found him guilty of the special circumstances of lying in wait and killing a witness, which carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. Evidence from the trial indicated Berman helped provide Durst with a false alibi in McCormick's disappearance.